Hello, I'm so glad that you got my invitations and that some of you RSVP'd and that you came over to talk about holiday stress, happiness, negativity, positivity, love, sadness. All goes with the territory at the holidays. It all comes tenfold. So thanks for coming. Let's chat. Have some tea with me. So glad you came. Thank you, Posse, for coming. Thank you, all my new subscribers, for responding to my invitation and coming over to my house today. This is a topic I think that I talk about with you every holiday season. I think I missed last year. I was just watching a couple of my other videos from the holidays as I progressed. And I don't think I could have said it any better than I said it. In 2018, I think I did one in 2019. I don't know if I did one since then, because 20 we were COVID stricken and that, but I missed a couple years. But when I listened to those, I thought, well, I wish I could just replay those, because I can't say it any better than I said it. Then I will link them below, and you'll watch my face change, my hairdos change. It's fun to look back. Anyway, I know the holidays are coming up, and I always talk about this at the holiday time, and there's just so much that goes on. There's so much that goes on throughout the whole year. It's just, we deal with so much. Our brain is like an internet social media. It's like everything is compartmentalized in our brains, and we pull things out of these compartments at different times of years and reminisce about things, and and some things we pull out that we shouldn't pull out. We should leave them back there. But we're like the internet. We have just this massive array of knowledge in our brains and function things that happened to us in the past. And I think the holidays especially bring out those things. And a lot of people at the holiday time, this is a happy time. Christmas has always been a happy time. It's my happy place. I love giving. Oh my gosh, I'm such a giver. I just spend money up the yin yang at Christmas time. I love those things. And now that I'm older and our finances aren't as great, it's one of the struggles that I have, maybe you have too, at the holiday time. And I think adding to, those things in our head that we used to do that we can't do now, just takes that internet that we have in our brain and brings it to the forefront. And some of those things are hard for me. But I think the holidays just bring out certain aspects of sometimes negativity, sometimes things that maybe have happened in the past, maybe it happened at the holiday time, and you struggle with them. You struggle with the ups and the downs of the holiday times. And I just, I'm always here to listen to you, and always here to try to help you get through any emotional times that you have, whether it's holiday time or whether it's not. But as we are approaching holidays, and yesterday was the kickoff, was Thanksgiving. And of course we all got together as a family, and it was loud and crazy and fun and stuff. And, I took out my little internet tape, and of course I started thinking about all the past Thanksgivings and all the fun that we used to have when I was growing up. It was just such traditional things as a family, and oh my gosh, and we'd go visiting, and it would be, sometimes it would end up in arguments, and somebody in the family would always leave, because one thing you never bring up at the Thanksgiving table, thank goodness we didn't this year, is politics or religion or anything like that. And my family was very headstrong on certain things, presidencies and all that stuff, and they would get started, and the Chianti would fly and the wine would go, and by about 3/4 in, they would be like full-blown arguments. We used to get so mad, so mad at these, and a couple of them would leave, and my mom would cry, and it was crazy. Now I think about those days, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to go back to another family function. And now you think about them and you go, God, I'd love to go back and sit to hear one more family function argument. I'd probably sit there now and go, yeah, 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 I would. But as the time you're going through it, you think, holy cow. But I think we all go through those, memory things that we have. We need to just kind of compartmentalize our brain and think about today and think about what you did like yesterday, what you had for Thanksgiving and who you were with and what you enjoyed. And those are the things I think that you have to stay in the now at the moment you do. I think, today, we're bombarded with negativity on news and oh my gosh, we hear so much things that are out of our control. And at the holiday times when you're rushing and you're trying to do this and you're trying to do that, and subliminally you're hearing, well, not subliminally, you're watching the news, but you remember it in your head, and it adds to the stress kind of what you're doing, which has nothing in effect to do with your holiday cheer, but it's just a layer of something that's is negative in the world that you have no control over. What you do have control over is who you bring into your life and who you set at the table, and what you can do to have a happy holiday. We're dealing sometimes today in finances. Listen, financing today is just crazy to me. I mean, I can't imagine people not struggling today. Just normal people, let alone retired people. I mean, the price of food, I don't know what they're going to do about this or who's in control to push the button, but the price of food is terrible. Even to getting together for holiday food, maybe it's your turn to have the holiday dinner. It's stressful to try to find that pocket to pay for this holiday dinner. It isn't like the old days. I mean, maybe it was a lot of money to us in the old days, but we always had a pocket in the old days. We always found a pocket, and we were both working at the time, so that was very helpful. But I can't imagine today the stress of entertaining people. And you'll find a way, you'll do it, but then this is when the crash starts after the holidays, when you realize all the money that you've spent, you go into this crash mode. And that's what we want. That's what we want to stop. That's what we want to prevent from happening. Maintaining positivity versus negativity over the holidays is something that you really have to work at. And sometimes it's like the commercial where they hold up the mask with the smile on their face, but underneath they're sad. And sometimes, you put on that happy face when really inside you're not. And to some, it's draining to you. I mean, it's a good thing and a bad thing. And here's my outtake on it, is I think it's a good thing that if you're not where you should be, maybe in happiness, or you're not at that point where you can be positive, but you're putting on that happy face. It's a good thing in a sense because it's teaching you to try to be positive. They say, if, like looking in the mirror, if you say, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful, I'm beautiful enough times, and if you think you're not, but if you say it enough, you'll believe it. But it's the same thing as that. If you put on a happy face more times than a frowning face, you'll get to where you'll get used to that. Like, hey, this positivity is pretty good. So I think that putting on sometimes a happy face can help you achieve happiness, as opposed to always being in a funk all the time and being down, because that just brings everybody in the room down when you're down. And so I think being positive, even if it's a pretend positive, is good for your soul and good for your inner beings, because eventually maybe you'll like that side of you and you'll be able to do it on a more steady basis. And I think being around family, if you have family, and being around family for the holidays is a magical thing. Having grandkids around is very magical. Getting together, if you're so fortunate to have your family together where you can all be together, it's just a ray of sunshine. I think it just it brings a smile to everyone's face, especially during the holidays. I mean, you might have family over all year, but at the holiday time, it's a special bond, and it's a special way to celebrate is with your family. The bad thing about it is when the family goes, you're left with this ache and this dullness and this loneliness. And it's like, this is how, like, the Christmas blues, they say, the after Christmas blues. Well, after Christmas, you're left with this pocket of loneliness where your house was full of ha ha ha, hoo, hoo, yeah, ooh, yeah, you know, down to like this quiet mode. And I think this kind of brings you down. It's like a sugar high and then a low. And I think it's part of just life, because our lives are centered on being high with positivity and then having low spots. And so I think it's a matter of adjusting, just like the time change. I mean, you're so used to it being light, you know, until 8 o'clock at night. Well, all of a sudden somebody says, well, we're changing the time, and then it's dark, and then you have to, it's like you lose an hour's sleep or you gain an hour's sleep. I don't pay attention. It doesn't affect me, but a lot of people it does affect mentally and physically, this time change. So it's kind of like the same thing with holidays. It's a change that you have to get used to, because, you know, after you change times, after a month or so, you're used to it. It's no big deal. But the leading up to it and the time it happens, it's like chaotic, you know. And I think it's the way the holidays are. You just lead up to this festivities, and you spend money, and you have people over, and you can hear all the noise and the laughter in your head, and then it's over. And then you have to get back to reality. And it's okay. You're not alone. Everybody has to go through this. You're going to go through a down period after the holiday times. But you can help that. You can help that. And I'll tell you how you can help that in a minute. But as you're dealing with these things, there's a lot of things that happen throughout the year. I did those videos before. I talked about family being important and stuff. And there's a lot of things that we have to go through sometimes, especially the loss of a loved one. Maybe this is your first time, your first holiday without your loved one. Maybe it's, you know, you've lost your mom or your dad or your grandma or your grandpa or your sister or your brother. And this is the first time, the first holiday that you're going through it. It can be devastating. It can be really devastating. And all of you know that last August of 2021, we lost our son. And and I'll tell you, losing a child is painful. Very painful. And you go through those first holidays without them. Now, my son didn't live here with me in Michigan. He lived in Nashville. So we didn't really get together and have that bond at the holiday time. I mean, we saw each other through the year. But at the holiday time, we didn't really spend together. They lived in Nashville. But I knew he was there, and he called all the time. And he was one of those kids that... I mean, he didn't travel much because he was so full of anxiety. He couldn't travel. That's a whole other story. But, you know, he called like every single night, and the holiday time, sometimes a couple of times a day. And so I miss that. So when you're grieving the loss of someone, you're not alone. I mean, there's no cure for that. I mean, this is my second holiday season without him. And I was talking to my daughter-in-law the other night, and we said it's almost worse than last year, because last year I think we were all still in this shock thing, and this year it's reality, kind of like, you know, he's gone. And so this second year has been kind of hard on all of us. So if you're going through despair over a loved one that you've lost, once I start to get emotional, my voice goes, hold on. But yeah, I mean, you'll never get over that loss. So you just might as well know it from now. That loss of a loved one is something that's in your heart. You'll never get over that. But you can move on, and you can think about happy things. There are things around that can make you happy. To crawl in a hole and be depressed, and I don't like that word to even use, is not helping yourself. You know, you have to take care of yourself too, which is something that you need to do to get through the holidays. You have to remember to take care of yourself mentally, yourself physically. You know, you have to fix yourself up. You can't let yourself go. I think when you're dealing with tragedies and stuff, you have to always keep that in mind, that you need to take care of you first. And I think all of us that are going through the difficulties of losing someone puts a whole new outlook on holidays. So the days that you're arguing over the dinner table, and the days that you're, oh God, I gotta go there, I can't stand those people, hang on to them, because you never know when it'll be the last time you hear an argument or the last time, you talk to those people or you see those people, and if you could just sit there and smile it and laugh it off. It's only for a few hours, one time a year. I think you'll be just fine. But I think there's ways, as you're getting into the holidays, I think what you have to concentrate on too is you got to keep in that compartment of your internet brain that there is 2023 coming. At least we all hope so. And you got to think about making goals for what's going to happen in 2023. So Christmas is over. Okay, you've gotten in debt a little bit too. You spent a little too much money. Maybe you ate too much. You drank too much. You had too many sweets. Sweets will drag you down mentally for sure. I can attest to that one. But now it's time to get on track. So you just kind of have to. Okay, 22 is done. The family holidays is done. The quietness has set in. You're back to reality. And now it's time to set those goals. We've talked about goals in my other video. It's time to set those goals. It's time to do something fun. Maybe take a little short trip. If you can take a little short trip after the holidays with your significant other, a friend or whatever, take a little trip and get away from the environment that caused you to be a little bit down with the Christmas blues, so to speak. So, you just kind of move away from it a little bit and start to plan something for 2023 now before you end up in that position. And of course, if you can stop, and not spend so much money and just remember that you should be grateful to just have family together. I mean, like yesterday is Thanksgiving. You don't bring gifts Thanksgiving to anybody. You all get together and you gather for Thanksgiving and, you thank God for everything that's wonderful that's happened to you, and you cut the turkey and you eat and you're happy. No gifts are passed, so there's nothing to exchange. And it's funny that Christmas can't be that way, because Christmas shouldn't be all about presents. I mean, you all know what Christmas should be about. But somehow it turned into presents and then over presents and then over presents and then over presents. But you just have fun sometimes just sitting down talking without even exchanging presents. At least we're like that. I'm like that. Kids not so much today. But yeah, you just have to just enjoy the moment. And you're going to get through Christmas and it's going to be fine. And you've got to take care of yourself, like I said before, and you got to take care of your health and get that in check too during the holidays. Start now and think, okay, I'm going to overeat, or maybe I overate, or maybe I overspent, maybe I did this. Now let's check it back in, and now let's just take charge of yourself and let's plan for 2023. Let's set some great goals for yourself. Like I say, if you're spending Christmas alone, I know I've talked about spending time with the family and stuff, but if you don't have a family, the hardest thing I think when you're older and you raise a family is they all move out of state. I don't know why they don't like the state that they were born and raised in. Sometimes it's jobs that take them, sometimes they're in the armed force, armed services, and they travel that way and end up in a state and they end up putting roots there. Sometimes it's out of their control. But I think when your kids leave out of state and you don't get to see them as often as you should, and you think about all the times that you had with them when they were little, and then they're gone. And sometimes you're left alone. Maybe your spouse passed away or something, and you're left alone. And maybe there's no place for you to go. And I guess the thing would be, for me, what I would say, I mean, I'm blessed to still have my husband, and my daughter is here too, and my grandkids. But yeah, they're getting their life of their own. They're getting older. I've talked about that before in a video. They're older now, and they don't need us as much anymore. So we have to find our own space and our own happiness. And it's nice that we'll maybe see each other at Christmas, but some of you maybe don't have that. So I would suggest at the holidays times to reach out. Maybe start reaching out now to friends that you haven't talked to. Make some acquaintances now so that at the holiday time, maybe they'll invite you to their place or invite you to a church dinner. If you don't belong to a church, there's got to be a church in your neighborhood that will accept you even to go. You'll be surprised at the people that you can meet at church or at senior centers that will talk to you. And if you're extremely lonely and sad, don't hold it in. It's not embarrassing to go to somebody and say, I'm really hurting. I'm really alone. Because I'll tell you, People come out of the woodwork when you're down and out to help you. It's just an amazing thing. I mean, you see it on the news, you know, my house burned down before Christmas, or, you know, I lost everything. People come out of the woodwork to send money and to help people rebuild their life. It's crazy. People are just born to help other people. You know, people just love to help people, especially when they're down. If you tell somebody, you know what, I'm really down, I'm really feeling bad because of this, they won't go to you, really? Well, I don't have that problem. I mean, if they do, then they're pretty shallow. But most people take you into their lives and help you. My daughter-in-law just moved out of this beautiful home that her and my son had, which was very sad. We've had to go through that the last few months. Well, the last year she's been battling to, you know, get that house ready to sell, which was pretty devastating on all of our parts to let go of that house, to know that it was no longer part of the family. And she moved into like I think a 55 and older community. And she's reached out to a few of the people in the complex there and told them, you know, that she lost her husband. They have just been overloading her with conversation and love and support and, oh, I'm so sorry, you know, and they have been just absolutely amazing to her. And so when you reach out to people and you tell them that you are struggling, they're off the charts to help you. So never be afraid to go to somebody and say, you know, I'm really alone this Christmas. Don't be embarrassed by that. Or I'm alone, I don't have anybody here. Because you will be shocked at the people who will reach out to you to try to help you, to try to make your life better. I'm telling you, you'll be shocked. And like I say, churches, senior centers, even if you join a gym, maybe you can't do much at the gym, maybe walk around, meet some people, you know, talk. I mean, you don't want to be a Debbie Downer and go, oh my God, my life sucks, you know, I don't have anybody. I don't mean that kind of thing. But I mean, if you just talk to somebody, let them know your feelings, you know, gradual into a conversation, they will reach out to you. They will hug you in more ways than you know how. So don't be afraid to tell people that you're alone. It's not a shame to be alone. It's not embarrassing to be alone. You know, we're not alone maybe because we want to be, we were forced with circumstances. I mean, just like my daughter-in-law, you know, I mean, my grandson has gone off, he has a great job, and she's kind of alone. So she did all this on her own and got settled into this place, and she did it pretty much alone. And I mean, her family is scattered, and her mom is real sick in another state. So she pretty much did this alone, and she did it. She picked up the pieces and she moved because she had to. There was no choice, but she wasn't afraid to ask people for help. I mean, she did as much as she could, but she said, hey, I need this TV moved, or hey, neighbor, can you move this couch out? I can't do it alone, or so, you know, you never want to be afraid to ask anybody for help or for guidance or for, you know, just for their expertise on something or whatever. But don't be afraid to ask. So, you know, holidays can be stressful, whether you're with family or whether you're alone. It's how you treat them and how to get through them, how to move through them, and know that the other side of that is a step for you to make a goal. I don't care what kind of goal it is. I mean, maybe put a goal like, I'm going to shop all day, or, well, maybe you're tired of shopping, but maybe I'm going to join a senior center, or I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna go visit somebody that I haven't seen before, or maybe you want a new car, maybe you need a new car, maybe, you know, maybe you're looking for, I don't know. So the main thing is to set goals for yourself, to do something great for yourself, take care of yourself, exercise a little bit. You know, even if you go outside on your deck and it's wintertime and you just sit there for like 5 minutes, not to get pneumonia or anything, but you sit out there for 5 minutes and you smell, you watch the breeze. I have my cardinal that comes and visits me every day. We chat to the cardinal. I always say, hi, Jeff. But I go out on the deck, just breathing in the fresh air takes you out of the home environment and gives you something to do. So I think that's a good way. I want you to know that, you know, you're not alone with some of your thoughts, your struggles. We all struggle. You know, I struggle without my son. I struggle. My other son is in Arizona. My daughter's, you know, got a new husband and a new life and a new family. Not that we're not part of it, but I mean, you know, things change in life. Lots of things changes. We all go through struggles. We all go through changes. And like I said, me and my husband are positive. We've worked on our positivity. We've had a lot of things happen to us in our life. And I know some of you said you are interested in knowing my story. And I will tell you my story after the first of the year of how we got to where we're at. So I think for everything negative that happens in your life, something positive is bound to come out of it. It's just the way you think. So I think just knowing that you're not alone, and if you're struggling, you know, there are ways to come out of it. And I'm always here for you if you want to ask me a question or something. And I've probably been through it. Who knows? And if I haven't been through it, it's probably coming. I don't know. But I think you'll be fine after the holidays. Just, you know, concentrate on yourself and I'll tell you another thing that really is hard at Christmas time. Is I think when you're lonely and you're alone, I think when you watch social media, you see hundreds of your family or your friends posting glorious pictures of their beautiful Christmases with their big families and and you know, it can be devastating to continually watch these feeds on social media and people talking about their happy, wonderful, oh, they had such a great time and the house was full of people and we made it. It's one constant feed after another feed that just makes your own internet worse, because, you know, you feel worse when you watch that. So I think after the holidays too, it's time to shut off a little bit of the social media, skip through all the stuff that people are continually posting. You know, if you're sad and if you're struggling, it only pours salt, so to speak, on a wound. And I think it's not that you're not happy for other people, but you don't want to absorb this at a time when you're struggling yourself. So just remember to try to be as positive as you can. And like I said before, sometimes pretending that you're positive will make you want to be positive because you'll love that feeling. So I want you to go into these holidays with a positive attitude, and I want you to come out of the holidays with a positive attitude, and remember who you are, and remember what your finances are, remember what's most important to you, and lean on the people that need you. When I did this a couple of years ago, I'll post a couple of videos. My granddaughter sang a song, "Lean on me when you're not strong, I'll be," I forget the words, but anyway, she sang that. I'll link that video. I think that was in the first Christmas one that I did. But so lean on somebody and to get you through these holidays. So I love you, and remember, be the eye and kind. And we all use kindness today, that's for sure. I love you, and I'll see you next week. I'm going to do my empties. I was going to do my empties today, but I don't know, this just hit me that I haven't done a holiday stress-free video for a while. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I helped, and take care of yourself. I love you. Bye-bye.